In previous videos, I showed how I bought a wrecked Ford Escape from the USA, removed the damaged parts and purchased the necessary replacement parts from dismantlers. Then I fully restored the front suspension and got the car drivable. Now it's time to move on to bodywork. Today I will show the process of restoring the front bumper, replacing the fender and repairing the headlight. After that, I will assemble all the exterior components of the car, and it will be fair to say that most of the work will be completed. At the moment, the car looks like this. All suspension components are installed. I did a test drive, everything works properly. And now it's time to restore the bumper, repair the headlight, install the fender and fix the lower part of the door. The fender that was installed here doesn't look badly damaged, but I decided not to spend time restoring it. I don't think I would be able to make it perfect anyway, so it's better to buy a new one. Since the impact was on the right side, at first glance the bumper doesn't look badly damaged. If I manage to restore it, I'll be able to save a decent amount of money. The bumper itself consists of several elements: the main cover or shell, grille, lower section, molding, protection panel, radiator grille support, absorber and fog lights. At first glance, it looks like the bumper simply popped out of its mounts, and it seems that only the mounting area for the right fog light will need to be restored. The protection panel located at the bottom of the bumper was broken during loading. It's a piece of plastic that I think can be plastic welded and painted with textured paint. Now I'll try to completely disassemble the bumper and then, as I inspect the parts, decide what can be restored and what will have to be purchased. The bumper is fully disassembled, only the main shell remains, which will need to be restored and painted next. It looks like I got lucky, the damage turned out to be minor and I can try to plastic weld the areas. First, I start with restoring the bumper protection panel that attaches to the lower part of the bumper. To give it the correct shape, I bolted the protection panel into its mounting points, then used a heat gun and special plastic welding rods to begin the panel first to get some practice, so it would be easier to work on the bumper shell afterward. From the backside, I also welded everything thoroughly and ground off the excess plastic with a sander. Next, I started repairing the lower plastic part of the bumper. Visually, it was intact, but in some areas the mounting tabs were cracked. As much as possible, I welded all the broken mounts and cracks. There's no point in making them perfect, since these areas will be hidden under the main bumper shell anyway. Next comes the most difficult part – welding the front bumper shell. Personally, I wanted to keep the original part, especially since the damage didn't seem too serious. I managed to realign the cracks in the bumper, then cleaned the plastic and used the same welding rods and heat gun to begin the restoration process. After welding the plastic, it will need to be sanded thoroughly to achieve a smooth surface. Any low spots will be leveled with special body filler. I'll also need to reinforce and rebuild the bumper mounting points to the fender. I filled and leveled the problem areas of the bumper, and now I'm scuffing the entire surface in preparation for primer. The bumper is prepped. Now all that's left is to apply adhesion promoter for plastic, and then I can... the primer with 500 grit sandpaper, preparing the surface for paint. The bumper is ready and can now be painted. I also painted the bumper protection panel with textured paint. While the car was taking up space in the garage, I decided it would be better to send the bumper to professionals for painting. This minimizes the risk of messing something up, and at the same time, I'll have the new Fender paint. turned out even better than I expected, and most importantly, I managed to keep all the original parts. During the collision, the headlight lens was not damaged. Only 2 out of 3 mounting tabs were broken. Since an original headlight is very expensive, I decided that restoring the broken parts would be the best solution. I decided to restore the headlight using these mounts, which were made on a 3D printer. They fit perfectly and are inexpensive. I test-fitted the new mounts, fixed them in the correct position where the headlight should sit, and then securely welded this repair kit using plastic rods and a heat gun. This is what the final result looks like. Most importantly, I saved money by not having to buy a new headlight. The right fog light was missing completely. I assume nothing was left of it, since the impact occurred exactly in that area. So I decided the lighting should be original and bought an OEM fog light for a relatively small price, though it had one broken mounting tab. I welded the mount, reinforced the second one since it had a crack, and then test-fitted and welded the mounting pad where the fog light is installed and secured. The car is assembled and I'm satisfied with the result. I am sure that if I were to do all of this again, it would take much less time and the result would be even better. For a first time, I think it turned out fine. Now it's time to do a proper test drive and definitely get a wheel alignment. I also plan to apply a special protective coating to the inner cavities of the doors and the underbody, since from the factory there's basically just bare metal there. And of course, I still need to repair a small dent on the passenger door and remove all the paint chips on the body. Stay tuned for the process.